Welcome back. It's Mark Leibovit, one of your favorite technical analysts, and you may remember me from the old days when I was a elf on the old Louis Rukeyser television program, and I was also a market monitor guest for 30 years with Paul Kangas on the Nightly Business Report. If not, maybe you know me from my volume reversal indicator, and here at Esignal you have the opportunity, if you haven't done so already, to sign up for it. So we're going to talk about my VR tool on this recording and a few other things, one of which is I want to invite you to an upcoming webinar on May 9th. We had one on April 25th. I apologize if you didn't see the notice for that. It's $69. It runs 90 minutes to 2 hours, depends on how many questions we get. And the bottom line, it affords you the opportunity to ask any and all questions about the indicator, about individual stocks, about my newsletters. We had a terrific time on the April 25th recording. It was very tiring, but every stock that any person wanted to get a reading on, I put up on the screen and talked about just about anything that was brought up. But we did have a little bit of a presentation there as well. So we'll have the link. You'll see it here in the email sent to you, and there'll also be an opportunity to buy my very famous cannabis vice letter at a discount from the regular annual price. For over 3 years we've been trading many of the cannabis vice names and been very successful with that. So just looking for action in the market, but we have many letters out there. If you go to vrtrader.com, you'll see all my various newsletters, but I'm not going to get into all that here at the moment. Just want to talk to you about the upcoming webinar. And I also want to mention and plug the weekly radio show, Wall Street Raw. We are accepting advertising and sponsorship now for the show. We're expanding to many more markets around the country, so contact me if you have some information about any potential sponsorship relationships you might have or know of anything you may want to promote on the program. Meanwhile, you can listen to the show 10 a.m. Eastern Saturday mornings at gcnlive.com. That's gcnlive.com. It also is carried on delay broadcast on other stations, one of which is the powerful 1510 a.m. in Phoenix, Money Radio 1510 in Phoenix. The show is archived at GCN and on iTunes, so if you missed the live broadcast, you can always tune in. So what are we talking about here? Of course, we're talking about my VR indicator. It is available at our website. You can purchase it for $99 a month. It used to be offered by Esignal, but Esignal started to back off from offering add-on indicators. Signal seems to like to recommend their own weekly hot stock now. I seem to get all these emails every week from Esignal on their own stock picks. In any event, let's jump into the Esignal chart. I'm looking at Martin Marietta Materials, which is, I look back over the past year and a half to 2 years, we've made more points in this stock than any other stock because of its volatility. This is the screen I look at every day. It's a bit of a mishmash here. I have all these watch lists on the screen, and when I have these negative volume reversals, that gives me a little trading sell and a positive up as a buy. So you can do this on Esignal. We can set up these monitor screens and put my volume reversal indicator as one of the columns, and gives you tremendous insight there when the volume is coming into the downside or the upside, and this is what I generally use for my trading. So I've been only doing it for about 35 years. In any event, the basic scheme here, and we're just going to go over it briefly because many of you may have seen previous tapes. If you have a declining 533 stochastic and a negative volume reversal, which we do not have here, that we have a key reversal outside day, you'd be short. But if you do have a rising 533 and a positive VR, that gives you a trading buy, and generally I'm in these trades for 1 to 3 days, even though there could be bigger picture moves in these stocks, and we do talk about them and write about them in our newsletter. The purpose of the VR for me personally, because I come from a floor trading background many decades ago, is to ring the register as often as you can, invest elsewhere. You can own mutual funds, you can own the S&P, you can have your portfolio manager, do all kinds of stuff, but if you're looking for trading, this is what I generally do. As I look for the VR, I take a trade in a day or two, and some of these are huge moves, particularly in a stock of this volatility. You can see here, generally speaking, when I get negative VR, it tends to follow through to the downside, positive VR to the upside, and you get some follow through. And these are many points in a very volatile stock like Martin Marietta. The history of this, by the way, is it was my Trump cement pick over a year and a half ago, almost maybe 2 years ago, and whether it was infrastructure play or it anticipated a Trump victory. In any event, I had written about it and it was correct that it did do well regardless. And if we pop over here to the weekly chart, get a little bit of a perspective here. This is the power of the weekly charts too. You can see some nice correlations here that the VR is not only on a daily chart. You can see weekly patterns which are very reliable as well. But I trade daily and I look at this just to get a general perspective. But there have been times where you can see some pretty powerful patterns here. Like I'm looking back here, this was 2015, November 30th, 2015, that week, negative volume reversal, declining 533 stochastic for several weeks, and the stock just came on down. So the whole theory of the volume reversal is you're following volume. Sometimes it's news related, sometimes it's just based on the overall trend of the market, but it gives you a good honest appraisal where volume is flowing, and that's really what it's all about. So to sign up for the indicator, go to vrtrader.com. You go to where it says VR add-ons on the screen, and you a little drop-down menu, and you can select the indicator. And here again, if you'd like to sign up for my webinar, please do. It's coming up May 9th, and I appreciate you joining me here for this little long-winded webinar that was recorded on Sunday, the 30th of April. Thank you for joining me.